It's hot.
We passed it. We didn't know exactly what the problem was on the ground. There is no pretending about the effect of this thing. There's no pretending about it. Nobody showed. It's a problem.
It's balanced.
This is not the stage at which you start planning to tax a commodity like coffee, especially from down there.
It's intellectually engaging.
The Constitution provides that the land must be registered under the customer tenure system, which is one of those that's recognized by the Constitution.
Ground Zero, live and syndicated on your public and national broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda. Welcome to Ground Zero, a show that brings you in-depth discussion ranging from politics, health, finance, sports, and so much more. Ground Zero.
Yes, indeed, it is UBC Ground Zero, and we're here to inspire the people of Uganda. I want to welcome you to this important edition of UBC Ground Zero program. We are live on 5 radio stations that broadcast this program live. That is UBC Radio on 98.0 FM in Kampala. We are also live and clear on other radio in other frequencies. In case you are in Arua, we are 97.4 FM. In case you are in Lira, we are 99. We are on 99.4 FM, and we're also live and clear on Butebo Radio. All right. Sorry for that technical issue. We are also live and clear on other radio stations that cover this program live. We are on UBC Western Nile, that is 98.0 FM, which is in Arua there, and in the heart of Arua City. That is the sub-region, Karamoja sub-region, Acholi, Lango sub-region, and also Western Nile there. And we're also live and clear on UBC Magic 100 FM in Kampala, and we're also tuning into your voice of Bundubujo, that is in Western Uganda, and we also stream live on YouTube. Just put UBC Ground Zero and you'll be part of the conversation. Ampaire Amon of Buteega is my name, and a big privilege and honor to have in the studios of UBC a very special guest who are going to be enlightening and also informing us in this UBC Ground Zero.
It's hot.
We passed it. We didn't know exactly what the problem was on the ground. There is no pretending about the effect of this thing. There's no pretending about it. Nobody showed. It's a problem.
It's balanced.
This is not the stage at which you start planning to tax a commodity like coffee, especially from down there.
It's intellectually engaging.
The Constitution provides that the land must be registered under the customer tenure system, which is one of those that's recognized by the Constitution.
Ground Zero, live and syndicated on your public and national broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Fukuzeni opote huyo Songeni endesheni mapamba Songeni tuteketeze jeshi lobote tujenge Uganda mapya Fukuzeni simisi huyo Songeni endesheni mapamba Songeni tuteketeze jeshi lobote tujenge Uganda mapya Fukuzeni ojoka huyo Songeni endesheni mapamba Songeni tuteketeze jeshi lobote tujenge Uganda mapya wakasisi endesheni mapambano tutekeleze jeshi lote tujenge Uganda mapya. Wananchi wa Uganda endesheni mapambano tutekeleze jeshi lote Uganda mapya. Fukuzeni ukabila endesheni mapambano tutekeleze jeshi lote tujenge Uganda mapya. Fukuzeni okona.
Interesting there for those who lived at that time and who were part of this kind of arrangement. You know what it means playing such songs to you and listening to them. We bring you some fresh memories there, and we talking about the NRM and NRA Liberation Day, and every year on 26th January Uganda marks the NRM Liberation Day. It's a very significant milestone in the country's political and historical journey. This day commemorates the 26th January 1986 when the National Resistance Army NRA, led by Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, captured the state power and also liberated the people of Uganda and brought the end to the years of political instability, insecurity, and also economic decline at the time. And Liberation Day symbolizes the beginning of a new chapter in Uganda's governance, one founded on the principles of peace, national unity, sovereignty, socio-economic transformation, and so very many others. I can't believe how the mood was for the people that lived at the time. It marks the transition from the armed struggle to constitutional governance and the rebuilding of the state institution, and also Uganda as one of the great countries that are liberated at that time. In today's UBC Ground Zero, we're going to look into some of the memories and some of the things that we celebrate after so very many years. And 2026 is a year that we celebrate with those that liberated this country, to make sure that we enjoy and feel proud of our country. In the studios of UBC, I have Jabili Augustine, comes from Forum for Democratic Change, and we're also expecting Nathan David, who is going to be joining us soon, and so many others. And also you, our dear listener, you can contribute in this program of UBC Grounds, and we always treasure your perspectives and any ideas that you share in this program. 776-511-426 is the number. You can reach us and celebrate with the country in case you are celebrating, and in case you are not, you will tell us why you are not part of this kind of commemoration and celebration of the 26th January 2026 NRM. Meanwhile, as we look into that, we are also finished a very significant exercise, and also have come from a very, very, very significant period from armed struggle to election choice. What the 26th January means after the election is the kind of topic that we're going to be discussing here for the next few hours that we're going to be in this studio, as Uganda people chose out of 8 candidates. We have a new government, we have a new president. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the National Resistance Movement presidential candidate, emerged as a winner with 7 million plus, and also we had direct members of parliament and also women members of parliament who have voted on that very day. According to the statistics, NRM seems to be to have won most of the positions, especially direct members of parliament and also women members of parliament in all regions. As we talk about the central region where we are hosted now, we talk about 57 members of parliament out of 102 there, whereas the next to NRM, we look at National Unity Platform, which had 39 members of parliament, and other political parties follow, like FDC, which is represented by Augustine Ojabile in our studios. Let's go into this. Ojabile, you're most welcome to UBC Ground Zero this very morning, and I welcome you from the period that we have just concluded, choosing the president and members of parliament, direct and women members of parliament. But we are also still on. I understand that is it yesterday, but one when we were choosing Lord Mayors, and I know that you had fronted a candidate there. I want to know how it was on your end, but also in the general picture of the country. But also we still have some elections that are still taking place. That is on 28th, I think, and also early next February. You're welcome, Ojabile.
Thank you, Amon. It's great being here once again this morning, sharing insights, and most importantly, building this country as a team. My name is Augustine Ojobide, and I'm a member of Forum for Democratic Change, FDC. I want to welcome colleagues from this election, where we had so many running battles and other issues that would engage in. But most importantly, I wish to congratulate those who made it through peacefully and without rigging, though there are those who have forced their way into the leadership positions. And I also want to remind colleagues that never lose hope. The moment you lose hope, that's the last thing that you have in life. Next week on Tuesday, we are having another bunch of elections, which is the election of division mayors and municipality mayors, and their councillors. Vote wisely. Do not look at a monetary value of your election, but look at the future. The value of your vote is the future. It's not the 100,000 someone is giving you to go and mobilize goons to go and beat up their opponents. Because in 1 week, you will be regretting why you really took that decision. Yet electing someone who has good values and good ideas and opinions would give you lifelong lasting amounts of money and also enrich you in the long run. So you must choose between short-term gains and long-term gains. That is what brings leaders. A leader must come to solve both short-term and long-term, but most importantly, long-term gains. And that is what we call sustainable development. So when we are talking of leaders, we are looking at who brings in ideas that will take the country ahead. And that is where we are. Sorry, I've made the introduction very long. That is it. Augustine Ojobide, the Secretary, FDC Electoral Commission.
Interesting. It is well. And we're going to be talking politics. We're going to be talking about our country. We're going to be looking at things that shape our politics and also looking back. Let's take a little steps back to the just concluded presidential elections, Ojobile, which were participating. I saw you at the National Tare Center. I remember engaging you in one of our editions here. You were very active in the campaigns. Let's start from day one, from the time we started this process, from the campaigns, to the nominations, from nominations to registration, updating the registers. We come to the time of Thursday, 15th January 2026, when we had to choose the next president, the next government. How has it been on your side?
Generally, an election, as you've stated it, it clearly indicates that it is a process. So within that process, we must appreciate about 3 issues. And one of them is the law. The second issue is the stakeholders' interest. 3 you must be balancing between the right and the wrong. Sometimes what is legally right is actually wrong for that moment, and I will explain that at the due course. So as you understand that as a party, we have interest in these elections. So this process does not begin with the National Electoral Commission. It begins with the political parties preparing, while vis-a-vis individuals preparing, and then we collaborate with the Electoral Commission in making sure that whatever we prepare for is in line with what Electoral Commission is actually doing. So that is how an election should actually be, that all the stakeholders must be part of the arrangements and the processes leading us to the final D-Day. So we remember that the last election of 2021 still took place in January. So Electoral Commission begins immediately after that election to prepare. And that is the most important thing, that when we are preparing in such an election, we do not prepare a few days to the next general elections. The process begins immediately. And what is supposed to be done? One of the things that are supposed to be done is the regular maintenance of the voters register. We update, takes up many who are not voters to be registered as voters, and those who may have shifted from one locality to another have the audacity or have the will and have the legal backing to shift their voter locations. So within the voter update, that's what you must do. And when must that be done? It should be done as soon as possible, before at least 6 months to the general elections. So that's why you see it took place last year around the month of, if you saw, it was around March to April. Voter update took place because you had to register new voters at least 6 months before the general elections. Legally, thumbs up for the EC. However, Electoral Commission continued registering new voters even after nominating candidates. That's why you realize that they did not issue out the voters register early enough. They even issued the registers 7 days to elections. Yet the law says you must actually issue the registers to candidates at least 2 weeks before nominations. The registers must be ready 2 weeks before nomination, so that at nomination you can issue even the registers in case candidates need them. You issue them you give them the registers, and they go and use them maybe for canvassing for support and all that. So you will realize that EC, legally, yes, they registered people on time and closed, but even when they closed, they continued registering various voters on interest of some other candidates who requested that, please, may you fix for me these 1,000 people to become voters in my area, so that maybe I can win an election. And that is election fraud, which transpired during this process, and that's why the voters register continued shifting. Other members being removed, like in Buteega, you saw what happened. Other people were removed from the register, while others were given an opportunity to add whoever they wished so that they could win an election. 2, you see, an election must have what we call electoral areas. Now, the gazetting of these electoral areas must also be done at least before nominations, and these must be published. You see, you cannot have electoral areas only known to Electoral Commission and you expect candidates to rightfully fill their nomination forms at the end. We have had so many cases where councillors have not filled in their nomination forms the right way. Because an area like, let's say Kasubi, where you have Kasubi as a parish, it's a very big parish. One parish alone has about 83 polling stations. It has 10 villages. So when you are petitioning such a parish for the male councillors, you need to do it as early as possible and make it visibly clear that when you are going to village 1, 2, 3, it is called Kasubi A. When you're going to village 4, 5, 6, it is called Kasubi B. So Electoral Commission did not do this in time. It only ambushed people at the nomination grounds, asking them which villages are you coming from. Now, in the end, many councillors actually ended up filling forms, putting in the codes for another village where they do not even reside. And in the end, they have been denominated on account that they are not members or residents of such areas. So, and this is not their fault. Just because the Electoral Commission did not publish these electoral areas in the Gazette and did not also go on ground to educate masses that actually we have had amendments here and there. So when you are doing this, fill your forms correctly. Or even when candidates go to the offices of Electoral Commission to pick those forms, at least give them a form indicating that these are the electoral areas we have in your area, so that someone chooses wisely or fills the form rightly. So this has been lacking in this electoral process, and we have had so many people denominated on account of having wrong electoral areas filled on their nomination forms. And we've also had so many people participating in these elections while they are in wrong electoral areas just because they have no option. But now let me try my luck. And such a thing cannot really work out well. You can't try your luck in an area where you've never prepared for. So
you're testing the waters.
Yeah, you test the water with your both feet, and you think that is testing. You can't. I can be 99% sure such a person cannot win that election, unless the 1%, which is a miracle.
But there are also chances. I've seen people who are very lucky.
No, those lucky people is the 1%. That's why I say 99% you will not win. But the 1% is the miracle. Like some people who have won elections even without residing in such areas, they only come because waliye mbuyaga. There is that wave. So you go and put your name somewhere, and you go to your ancestral ground to rear cattle. You only come back to swear in. So such things happen. However, Electoral Commission must not be, should be cautioned that this is their work and this is their role, their responsibility, which they must never run away from. They never publish these electoral areas. They only keep it to themselves. 3, the issue of polling stations is also another concern. You see, Electoral Commission had about 34,000 electoral polling stations in 2021. This time round, they were broken into smaller units to bring us to about 50,800 something.
Almost a double.
Yes, almost a double of the former. However, these polling stations still...
What were the implications of that?
No, it was a good approach. It was a good approach. Actually, for me, I even suggested that they should have broken them further. Okay? Because we had these machines, and my guidance was in line with the machines. That when I look at the machines and the trials that we made with the Electoral Commission, the 600 could not vote. And this I was on record. I told the chairman and his committee, told them, with your machines here, the gadgets, and what I have seen, the number that can actually vote at a polling station is between 150 to 200. It's like I was predicting the number of voters of this year. I didn't know that even without the machines, that would be the number. But I was speaking out of the wisdom that I had
So
looked.
breaking down these polling stations and
so-
the use of BVB machines would have worked out.
If we had the machines, people would have even been less, okay, with the machines. So without the machines, it brought people
Why
to about
less?
200.
Because of the
The
time and it was going to be a slow exercise.
You see, the exercise of using the BVVK machine is of those who understand technology. And the majority of our people were trained one day, just for one day. Now you come, try. This is how the machine will work. It's not a phone that you are going to spend a week with and you continue trying out and try out. Because even many of us, when we buy new phones, there are so many things that we must
That very week or entire month you're
For an
learning.
entire month you're learning how to use your phone. But here, our people were trained for about 3 hours. Because I followed it up. People were being invited at around 2 p.m. They give them oral lectures of how they should conduct themselves. Then they tell them, now there is this machine, which you are also going to conduct. He said, come and try it out. It has worked out. You go out. Now, the next time you're going to use that
And that was
machine,
all.
it's the election day. Now, so I keep asking myself, if it disturbed the technocrats at the headquarters
During training.
what do you think our local people in Amudat would go through? So you would really see that it was wastage of time, and we could have the lowest turn up. Actually, at one point they should thank whoever created the mishap on the machine, that at least more people voted. We were going to have the lowest.
So if we use the machines, we could have had a lesser number.
We would have had a
regardless
lesser
of
number.
the low turn-up.
Yes, there was a low turn-up of about 180 to 220 people per polling station, but this time around we would have had about maybe 140 to 180. So it wouldn't really tally. It wouldn't really be good.
It became a blessing in this case.
Yeah, it is a blessing in disguise, but we need also to caution whoever procured the machines. There must be something fishy. We must question. The EC and Parliament should take up this, because more than 200 billions Ugandan shillings.
I've heard so very many people. So to you, according to your explanation, Jabele, it seems that the machines not working, it could have as well helped the process to run faster and the people to be able to vote in time without wasting a lot of time. But also I've had some candidates and some supporters who have raised so many issues in regard to the same machines failing to operate.
You see, when you see the machines, them failing to work should have been something the commission, the machines failing to work, the commission should have communicated as fast as 8 a.m. What people are complaining about is the laxity Electoral Commission took to communicate. I remember Mr. Byabakama came on air at around 10:30 to talk to the country that please.
That was 1 hour after he had declared that for the use of physical.
So he says,
registers.
please let people continue using the physical register. Without the machines, we can still go. And he said the law says this and that. I don't know whether earlier on when he was commanding that without the BVVK machines, no election would take place at a polling station. I don't know whether at that point he was not quoting the law. So these are variations which we must really question at one point or the other. So the machines failing to work and communicating to the public coming at 10:30 is something that pushed away so many voters, because many people came as early as 6:30 because they wanted to vote by 7 and then leave. So they ended up, okay, let's wait until 8. Let's try to see 8:30. Let me go. I will come back. Then
Could that also have affected the low turn-up, because so many people think and say that they went back home, and maybe you could have had a few who came back to vote. Could that be an explanation that Electoral Commission would give, or other stakeholders, to conclude that also that affected the low voter turnout?
So many things affected the low voter turnout.
Like,
To me, I don't think it is basically the machine. Because even with the machine, I've told you the number would have been lower. Because many people would have got tired. It was sunny, remember?
I mean, for those that came early in the morning,
Yeah.
by 6, 7, and telling them that they have failed to vote, people perhaps could have gotten tired, others had lost hope and went back. And I am imagining the kind of message they were giving to those that they found on the way or even at home. Tebikola.
No, that message was all over. For me, as a person, I received over 100 phone calls that morning. Because I tried to follow it up with the Electoral Commission. There is even a contact they gave me, which up to today has never picked my call. So I don't know whether that's how we work, because I expected him actually to talk to me and tell me this is what we are doing. Because I've been working with them. I am continuously working with them in line with making sure that whatever happens at the Electoral Commission, we receive the feedback soonest as members or as colleagues in the system. Because as Forum for Democratic Change, we are electoral based. We are a political party which must continuously work with our supervisor. However, our people not attending to elections just because of the machine. For me, I keep saying it is not about the machine. Some people came and their coming was like, kangende tukiriza omukolo. Okay? Since they announced a public holiday, let me just go and do it now, and I go home and relax, do my own things. So the moment you don't find the machine working, actually it was like, let me just go and relax home. So it is not about basically that the machine caused that. Though the machine has a bigger percentage that many people came and then they went home. Like in Kasese, the message was that election has been postponed.
On which grounds?
So the election has been postponed, just like you said that some people are saying, Tebikola, yes, the machines are down and they have decided to postpone the elections. But it was negative propaganda to make sure that your opponent, their people go home and say election will be maybe next week since the machines are down. And now people took it serious and didn't come back to vote. In the evening, you say, but they told us elections had been postponed. So who were the ones voting? So this is how the machine also affected people.
Okay.
And in the end, many people did not vote.
Okay.
But I don't think it is the machine. It is more than the machine. Even the feeling and the attitude of people towards voting is now negative.
Interesting there. Ojobile Augustine comes from for Democratic Change and is the of the Electoral Commission. We also want to understand and zoom in what really happened and in different places. We have heard so many updates from the central region and most Karamoja sub-region, Lango, Achwari and west there. But we are also most interested in knowing what took place in one of the busiest and near the border hosting major and most of the refugees in the country, and we're going to join the Honorable Hashaka to update the country about what really went down in Western Nile and how the process was and how did the people of Western Nile engage in this exercise on choosing their next government or next leaders. Hashaka?
Yes, please.
Are you there?
I'm there.
Interesting. You're most welcome to UBC Ground Zero. We have live on 5 radio stations that cover this program, and we happen to get you a big opportunity that we're going to talk about. They just concluded elections, but later I will engage you on the 26th January 2026, where the country is commemorating the liberators, those who liberated this country. Before we go into the liberation, how did it go that side in Western Nile, especially during this period where people are choosing leaders? We shall start with the presidential candidates and then come to the members of parliament, and also we understand that we are still choosing leaders, especially at the local level. What update do we have for the country, Honorable?
Thank you very much. I am happy to be live on UBC here in Obongi district, Madisa region, West Nile region. We pick UBC loud and clear. And by name, I am Samuel Ndindaza Shaka, the RDC Obongi. Regarding the elections, we went through well, but it was so challenging. It was challenging in that we now have a category of leaders who think they are untouchable, who think they can cause chaos, and also we had also a very bad culture which has come in of tribalism. We had the opposition side using a lot of tribalism and also intimidating the people, especially women voters, but we were on top of the situation. And at the end of the day, we arrested 2 UPDF soldiers led by one Lieutenant Caps, who thinks he's untouchable because he happens to be a nephew of the Vice President of the FDC, Honorable Caps Fungaro. They went around, he was arrested with bullets, they had pangas, they had spears, they had money they were distributing to the people, and they were causing a lot of anarchy. But I want to thank my security forces that did a lot under the command of Colonel Asimwe, my brigade commander, and also another team led by Major Kandole, who did a great work and arrested this character. And there were 2 lieutenants arrested. There is a staff sergeant on the run. There is also a captain on the run. So here what happened is that relatives who have people in the army thought they can use the old archaic systems of Aminism and Oboteism, of trying to scare the people, trying to shoot at them, trying to do a lot of havoc. But we're on top of the situation. We had them arrested, and then we also had the challenge of refugees. We have discovered we have thousands of Southern Sudanese refugees who are registered on the National Voters Register of Obongi. Then we also had the challenge of the breakdown of the BVVK machine. We discovered at some polling centers, people were being given on the day of the presidential and parliamentary, people were being given 5 ballot papers. They give you 5, 1 for the president, then for the area MP and woman MP, they would give you 4, 2 each. And all this was done by the opposition side. And then also we discovered also among the recruited presiding officers and the polling assistants, we had about 80% who we are finding out how they came to be the presiding officers and polling assistants when they are from the opposition side. So because of this, they created a lot of havoc. And then they had also plans to cause insecurity immediately after the announcement of the results. And we had a lot of running battles on the day of the presidential and parliamentary. They attacked the home of the woman member of parliament, Honorable Maneno Zumra, and then they also tried to beat her, but security was quick to restrain them from what they were trying to do. We have since impounded some motorcycles which they came with, and arrangements are underway to have all these characters arrested. On the day of the presidential and parliamentary, we arrested very many Southern Sudanese refugees, especially in the sub-counties of Itula and Parolinya, where we have the Parolinya refugee settlement. And this is because we first captured 15 of them, just in about 1 minute. We had our Refugee Welfare Council chairperson at LC3 who helped us a lot in nabbing these refugees. We also had the camp commandant, Robert Andoye, who did a very tremendous job. In just 1 minute, we were able to capture 15 refugees who were voting. Then also, we got a lady who was putting on a t-shirt with a picture of the president of Southern Sudan, and she had 6 voter location slips. She told us she was going to use all of them to vote because there was that connivance that was going on. And so we had them arrested, but surprisingly, and which was a very big shame, the police released them. Initially, during the primaries, we also had a problem where somebody's head was smashed and he was rushed to Kampala for an operation. Our woman member of parliament, Honorable Zumra Maneno, paid over 8 million for this gentleman who had been smashed the head to have him treated. Then we had also, during the nomination time, we had the vehicle of the husband of Honorable Maneno, that is Dr. Alionzi, who is a director at IU in Arua. They had his vehicle smashed, and these people, one of them was arrested. We had the pictures of those who did it because they were captured by the people who witnessed when they were smashing the vehicle. And all this was being done by the camp of the independent candidate and the Forum for Democratic Change candidate. To date, none of those people, despite the file being sanctioned, has been taken to court or has been taken to prison. Then we also had our registrar for NRM during the primaries, One Maiku, Edward, who was beaten in the stomach by some border riders who parked just next to Babahaki Hotel, opposite to the 2 supermarkets we have in the district. And again, these ones to date, none of them has ever appeared in court. So on the eve of elections, we also arrested some Kanyamas who had been brought to destabilize the situation. So when they were arrested, they claimed that they had come to play volleyball in Obongi, but with the able command of the army and the police, were able to have them arrested. And then, unfortunately, in other parts, I've been watching on TV, whereby those who tried to destabilize the elections were arrested, arraigned in court, and taken to prison. But in Obongi, we don't even have even one single person who has been taken to court, despite the overwhelming evidence that took place. So at the end of it all, during the presidential and parliamentary elections, we had really a lot of running battles. These people were being incited to go and target VIP places, including my own place as the RDC's residence. They came there incited by the opposition side, but they were beaten off. And as we talk now, situation has returned to normal. Then when it came to the LC5 elections and the councillors at the district level, we did very, very well because, again, they were trying to play the same tricks that they played during the presidential and parliamentary, and we learned a lesson. We deployed police and army were on alert. So this time there was minimum rigging by the opposition in Obongi. And at the end of the day, we were able to make it. The district chairperson, who is also our NRM chairperson, who was also the flag bearer of LC5, that is Haj Abib Buga Awad Kemis, won the day by defeating the enemies of peace in the country, I mean in the district, and also enemies of development in the district. And at the end of the day, as I talked yesterday, there was a very big celebration by the people of Obongi, celebrating the win by the president, who won by 77.94%, and then the winning of our chairman, LC5, as flag bearer of NRM, Haj Abib Buga. People celebrated. It was a very big and huge celebration. I want to thank the security that made sure the celebrations went on very well. They also had a very big challenge as the NRM in the district. Very big challenge because over 80% of the district executive committee we discovered that those who had been elected were mainly FDC people who came to disorganize the elections, in that all the money, most of the money, by about 60% to 70%, that was sent for the NRM candidates, money that was sent for the village, the grassroots mobilizers, was embezzled by the same people. And then at the end of the day, we discovered that about 80 to 90% of members of the district executive committee of the NRM were campaigning for the FDC and independent candidate, to the extent that even the uniforms that were brought, the NRM t-shirts, the posters of the president, the reflector jackets, that was brought as visibility materials. About 80% of them they ended up giving them to the opposition side, to the extent that on Tuesday, when we were having the last campaigns for presidential and parliamentary, we had the FDC side putting on yellow t-shirts and also trying to disorganize the district, trying to cause havoc in the name of claiming that it was the NRM that did it. But again, security was on top of the situation, and as we talk, I want to announce that the situation has now come to normal in Obongi. We still are trying our very best to make sure we come out of this situation without any much ado.
Thank you so very much, Honorable. But one question that I may not forget to ask is that why is it that those arrested have not been taken to court?
It is because of the police. We have discovered the police seems to be part of the whole game and arrangement, because it all started during the NRM primaries, where we saw people being beaten, injured, people being intimidated, and at the end of the day, we did our part. The Wananchi did their part. They opened the cases. Investigations were made. People recorded their statements. Witnesses also recorded their statements. So the weakness is entirely on the police force, because when we went for a regional meeting, as we were preparing for the presidential and parliamentary, I was shocked that in the presentations that were made during a meeting called by the 4th Divisional Commander, Major General Felix Musizori, and then we had IG Peter Nui in charge of West Nile and Northern. Then we also had the Director of Operations in the Uganda Police Force, Mr. Mwesigwa. I raised the matter after realizing that according to their presentation on the side of the intelligence and also on the side of the police at the region, there was nothing mentioned about the challenges that we had faced as Obongi district. And when I raised it, I want to thank my division commander and AIG Peter Nui, who intervened, because the enemy side had known that we would only have police, which was going to cause havoc. But when I made a special request, I want to thank my division commander and brigade commander who directed, and we had the army on the alert, who really did a lot. So the blame goes to the Uganda Police Force, which has not done anything and continues failing to do anything. And an investigation has been directed by the District Security Committee to find out why. Why do we continue having havoc? Why do we continue having people being beaten? The women, most women could not vote because they had been intimidated, and nobody was there for them. And it was we who kept on going to restore hope to them, telling them you can go and vote, mainly using the disciplined Uganda People's Defense Forces backed up by the police.
Your last comment,
the comment on the Liberation Day or on the same?
On the same, and also on the Liberation Day, that we are only counting hours to the D-Day.
Yeah, I want to begin by assuring the people of Obongi district that, like we assured you as a district security committee, that we would go through these elections peacefully. We have made it, and I want to salute all the security committee members that have done a lot, to thank the mighty professional UPDF that did a lot. First of all, by arresting some of their own who had come in as relatives of the opposition people who were standing and stood their ground and had them arrested. And I, in a special way, want to thank Major General Felix Musizori for being a very good commander, a professional commander who picks phones all the time, who responds to any situation, who has helped us to make sure we go through. So I want to appeal to the people of Obongi, remain united. And I want to appeal to them to avoid tribalism, because tribalism is a very, very bad factor that we should continue fighting, because yesterday we had to intervene in a wafer trading center where the Aribas were already fighting with the Arigas because of the politicians who have brought that very bad and archaic system of promoting tribalism. I want to appeal to the people of Obongi to remain united and to tell them that as a security committee, we are going to continue doing our part in ensuring that the security situation remains intact in the district. As far as the Liberation Day is concerned, I really want to congratulate Ugandans upon reaching this year's the NRM Victory Day celebrations, which will be celebrated on Monday, the 26th. And of course, in Obongi, I've been getting I have received many calls from the Wananchi, from leaders saying we need to celebrate, although it has been a busy period and we still have a busy period for the forthcoming LC3 elections. Can we do something in terms of celebrating our heroes? Like the theme for this year is saying that we are celebrating our heroes, going to the bush, led by no other than General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, to liberate this country. So therefore, I want to finally thank you, UBC, for having given me this opportunity to tell the world and Uganda about what happened in Obongi, what is happening in Obongi, but in a special way to wish all Ugandans happy celebrations of NRM Victory Day. Thank you so much.
Interesting.
My country.
Interesting, and thank you so very much for always creating time to talk to the people of Uganda.
You're welcome.
Okay. Online, Honorable Mpimbaza Shaka is the RDC of Obongi district in West Nile. They are updating the country on what took place, especially during the general campaigns, and what continues to go on there. He happens to be on the Committee of Security in that very district, and I'm glad that they are managing the situation. Interestingly, I've been joined by a very special guest, Nathan David Kazora, who is happened to be one of the staunch members of the National Resistance Movement. The smile can tell it all. I want to come to you, Nathan, about what went through. What did you observe? How was the campaigns? Ojabili from FDC has shared his experience, and also I'm wondering, you must be celebrating even before you come on the microphone, and I can see the smiles.
I have to smile because every person
because your candidate went through.
Not only that one, but when you plant something and by the time of harvesting, when you harvest something which is good, then you have to be happy. So the win of NRM just not came from the blue or anywhere. It just came from the effort people put in on the ground, not during the campaign time, but all along since we received the mandate of taking these 5 years, we are still taking on. So I thank Ugandans, but in particular there are certain districts, whenever I've been going since we finished voting, I've been thanking those districts. For example, Butambara district, Kampala district, Wakiso district yesterday, but I think yesterday, they have declared the Cheyune, and most of the councillors, they are of NRM. Even in Kampala here, we have got some councillors. We have defeated the one called the Katongole from this side of Rubaga. So, people always know who has done for them something positive and kwara. Just communication, empty promises. These opposition people, most especially the NUP side, they have been telling people. So I thank Ugandans for knowing a person who loves you. It's a very good act to reward somebody who has given you something before. So President Museveni has given us, as all Ugandans, including those people who are in opposition, they have received the better activities, the better provision from the hand of Museveni. So I thank government, in particular NRM government, for being so close to people. Because a normal person, what he wants is service delivery. Nothing else you want from government. So it is not a matter of changing guards, changing leaders. It is a matter of receiving the services at your place, of which President Museveni is ever focusing on that. Apart from the return of accusations we have been hearing and seeing from opposition people, you have even had Honorable Zimbabwe as Asaka, even regretting, and is the RDC lamenting that they arrest people. Even yesterday I was watching a news. This Nup man Honorable Nsamba in Kasanda, no, a man of NRM Honorable Kamreke was leading him. So he had to organize the gangs. They go and attack the NRM agents who are taking the DR forms to the Kamreke, and he took them away. So now the judge chased away the case that has no ground, that they should go to court. So obviously, you see, that's what we call democracy. That you can even snatch the win, and even the person who has been snatched from belongs to the ruling party. But we keep quiet and the man comes to parliament and rule. That's what we call democracy. When you find RDC, that all the people that were apprehended with the vivid evidence, they are not even put the courts of law, and files were not sanctioned. You have asked him that question, and he has confirmed it's because of the police. But the police is an institution of government where these opposition people have been crying of police is a state machinery. They are harassing us. But you have heard now what RDC is saying, and obviously very many such situations have been happening where you find people, NRM people, confronting with police as if they are trying to favor opposition people. But that's not the real thing. For their aim is to keep law and order. So in the process of keeping law and order, when you raise your voice intensively, although you belong to NRM, they will just say, "I first stand aside." I saw this man is a lawyer, by the way. I was totally amazed. My wife told me she was ahead of him. This Naja of Wakiso. How can a lawyer does not challenge whatever he thinks that has been snatched from him through exchanging bros? But to be the returning officer until he was even put on road as if he was a mad person. That's not the way they pursue win. He is a lawyer. He knows the legal ways. He would have even got and go to courts of law. But for him, we want to beat the returning officer because he knows he doesn't have the support on the ground. So democracy means majority have decided. So I thank Ugandans for deciding well, because Uganda is for us all. And those people, obviously, politics of identity. Even Zimbabwe Saka talked about it, that the people should not be tribalistic. Those people who are preaching the tribalistic tendencies, security tendencies, because they have nothing, any lucrative to tell people. Hence, they want to divide the people. They want to use what we studied in history, divide and rule. But obviously, President Museveni here is preaching a peace message, peaceful message. Be constructive, yes, sir.
You, the beginning of the term, you started with the campaign of taking back Buganda, and indeed, according to the just concluded elections, you have 57 members of parliament. Could that explain that you have taken back Uganda? But also, what could be the parameters that you think you did in Uganda differently compared to other times where you aren't getting this big percentage?
Not even Uganda alone in particular, but what Uganda's people have been getting, or other Ugandans have been getting. You see, when you are two wives at home, and you are competing for one man, so this woman is taking care of the husband for you instead of also trying to take you abusing. You are criticizing the other co-wife. The man will end up run to the other woman who takes care for the husband. Uganda moved the whole nation, visiting PDM, the way it has been performing. The accusations were there, everything were there. You know, when you visit the place and you know the mistake. Now we are going to rectify them. And these people were on the media houses criticizing President Museveni. That PDM has done nothing. Some of the leaders, even they are convincing their people, don't take the man of PDM. So why you have asked me, why did we get all this support we have got in Uganda, in particular, because they defeated us last term. First of all, PDM. PDM has worked for people. Secondly, these skilling hub schools, that you take a kid or a person, you provide free education, is eating for free. After that, you give him or her some good small money to start a business. Now he's already an employer, is employing 3 people. And you think the family of that person are not going to vote that president who has supported them? Those are the causes. Nature of opposition people. For them, when they are on, apart from Munanda Ramafabi and Mugisa Muntu, but the rest, when they are on they have been on their campaigns, they have been talking about Museveni. We want to take away dictator President Museveni. President Museveni is the problem of Uganda. But you are not telling people, yes, Museveni might be the problem of Uganda. But you, what are you going to do for us? Finally, people, I told you that literacy rate is at 84%. People can listen, internalize, scrutinize, and get the right thing. So people have been hearing all this dramatic campaign. And now, apart from the other dramatic side, then they have been hearing the serious man, the old man of heart. He has been telling them, fight poverty. Come out of poverty. Work. Because when I give you development and whether they are differing. Because when government brings the electricity and you have nothing to work with it, then you remain poor. When government construct a dam, like for us, and you don't have a cow to go and drink that water, then where will you benefit from the dam or the borehole? When the government build a school, and will you go and sleep in that good buildings? No, you have to make wealthy. And I've been telling people, these people, opposition people, they say government is making people poor intentionally. And I've been responding to them. There is no government in the world that wants to lead poor people, because wealth comes from us people. Oh, when people are poor, then the country is also poor. But when you see the thriving of our economy, day after the other, year after the other, we are going ahead. That one must be, that one is from the deliberate economic actions, developmental actions that has been geared by this government. So that's people have voted us because we had a good manifesto.
Okay, what are some of the lessons that NRM, especially you, the supporters and leaders, draw from areas where support may have declined?
Yes, obviously for us, we always learn from the weaknesses, from the challenges. That's why NRM has been a mighty party for so long, 40 years, and now they have given it a chance for another 5 years. Where we have not performed well, I want to tell you. By the way, there are some leaders who always say, if this party has not supported me, I will not even support them financially and other development assets of government. But President Museveni is very, very intentional. When it comes to the area where he has not got much support, then he starts the effort. If I even have to institute the why do you think we have performed? That's why we brought this slogan, Buganda Museveni, and it has yielded something positive for us. So I by the way, I would even urge you, the opposition people, to learn from this government, because if you are in government in waiting, we are expecting you maybe to occupy this chair after President Museveni out of it. But really, the way you are talking, the way you are promising your promises, are they really relevant to the masses? Are they helping people to come the challenges that are suffocating them? Because when you keep lamenting and singing the challenges people faces, minus being, I told you, Mr. Amon, that a leader must be a problem solver. You have to be so creative so that you can mitigate, you can cap down this challenge that your people faces. Because you people, leaders, you always call them my people. So how can your people remain suffering, and for you are just an advocate, you always advocating those sufferings that the people are facing? So come, let us, all of us, study from President Museveni. I always tell people that's why I'm still saying President Museveni is still capable of leading us even another term by 2031. Because for him, is poor people. He always thinks always thinks the development of people is ever in his mind, not him in particular as President Museveni. Because President Museveni is now not leading us to benefit more. He's leading us, or rather, is still leading us because us to benefit from him. That's why we voted him massively.
Okay, as you talk about president being a pro-people, there is a very certain group which happens to be the majority. We're talking about the youth, and who feel that they have been politically and economically excluded. How is NRM responding to such concerns of the young people who happen to be young voters?
By the way, in this campaign, Museveni has made several groups of youth people, and he's putting very many programs to help youth people. Because even one time they were in Wachitura, he told them, but by this time when I was 20, I was planning to rescue our country from out of turmoils. But if for you are just seated there, then you are not going to be powerful people. So President Museveni is focusing on each and every citizen of this country, by the way. Leave alone the use of those they are the majority. Obviously, President Museveni, all the ideas, all the good ideologies he brings here for the country, youth are inclusive. If it means to have them the leader in parliament, they have. All the levels of leadership, youth are there. And he is ever teaching them how they can build themselves for their future. So don't say that youth are excluded. I don't think that any serious youth cannot say that. Any serious youth cannot say this government has excluded them in development, in political matters, in every sphere of life. So when we see in the political orbit, we might say, where the power operates, you came here having a slogan that people power. And that's what have been shown now the last election, that people have manifested their power. And the people have manifested that they still have hopes and faith in President Museveni. So let Mr. Chaguranya and his counterparts stop complaining, stop hiding. There is no even no need of Mr. Chaguranya to hide. Let him come out and concede that he was defeated decisively. As we have been telling people that I was telling them that this concluded election, we are going to defeat them, and we have defeated them decisively. Why?
Okay.
Because people are still on our side.
I need to bring in Jabil here, and later on, Nathan, I want to engage you on the Liberation Day, which is happens to be your day as well. And I know you are going to be celebrating that on 26th, which is next week. Ali, Ojabili, thinking you've heard from Nathan, you've heard from Honorable Impimbaza Shaka there. What do you make of their statements? But also, how should the opposition or opposition parties reposition themselves after these elections to remain relevant and very effective? There is a concern which is emerging. Opposition fighting opposition. If you've seen what happened in Kira, Honorable Semju being said by the NUPO candidate, if you to see the just concluded mayoral elections in Kampala, Honorable Baramweza unseating a very prominent mayor, Honorable Lukwago. Some people, is this democracy, the refusal of democracy, or it is true that opposition is fighting itself? Ojabile.
You see, Amon, I will begin with the last one. You see, for me, I have no problem with opposition members vying for the same position with other opposition colleagues, as long as it is clean. The problem with the current leadership of the opposition is that they never appreciate alternative views. They never have the feeling that there is another person who has a better idea. And that is something very bad in this kind of society where we are fighting so hard to unseat Mr. Museveni, who we say is not a Democrat. So we must really play as Democrats. A Democrat, you listen and appreciate alternative views. You even give an opportunity for your critique, for someone you think is always criticizing your ideas, to bring out their opinions. For example, for me, I am the day I realized that Mr. Bobi Wine did not have the mentality to lead this country is when he started a fierce fight against Impuga. You see, there is no way. For me, I am critical in the way I would do things. That Mr. Impuga, as the leader of opposition, if you say he got 500 million from Mr. Museveni, it was not good for him to get the money. That's what you say. It was not good. During the Bush Wars, Mr. Museveni maintained Amama Mbabas and Ruhakana Rugunda in government to make sure that they can get money from the UPC government and deliver it to them in the bush. Okay? Now, for me...
That's a good one.
Now, for me as the one in opposition, if I have a Impuga who can get money from Mr. Museveni and bring it to us in opposition, what makes Impuga a bad person? Don't we need the money? Okay? Don't we need the money? We need the money badly because we lack even money for basics, like money for agents. That's why we can't have 100% agents. As if this we did not fill the 100% because we didn't have the money. If you counted just one person per polling station, that
you would have used the Mpuga to money from the government to facilitate the activities.
As opposition, you need such people. You need to go and fish more than 10 Mpugas. If they can get each person 500,000, 500 million from the government, it means you have already got about 5 billion from the regime. And you can use that money to mobilize against the regime. So when a Bobi Wine rises up to fight such a person who can get... because what are those pillars which make this government? One of them is Bank of Uganda. That at any time Mr. Museveni wants money, he gets to his phone, calls the governor and tells him, at such a moment, I need this amount of money. For you as opposition, who do you call? So, if you have nobody...
Yeah, those that have access to money, you're expelling them from the party.
You're expelling them from the party. Then the next month or the next week, you're telling Ugandans that, actually, we couldn't nominate more MPs because we didn't have money to nominate them. Now, what a stupid and silly statement is this? Okay, so
but how about if it contradicts your principles that you've been preaching to the people?
Let me tell you this. Do you want to tell me, unless that statement you are making shows that Bobi Wine is not serious to take leadership of this country? But if you are serious to take leadership of this country, you must have people inbuilt within the system and outside the system. And this is how a regime is overthrown. We cannot overthrow Mr. Museveni when we don't have our own people within the system. That one can never happen. And Mr. Museveni also knows it, that he overthrew Obote's regime because he had people like the Ruhakanas. They were there. They would stand for him. You mean he could go and break up in a barracks without knowing the time of those people being out of the state of the
where
station?
The Amra was.
Yes. You must be knowing. Someone must be updating you that this is what happens. We have a routine. And when this routine is broken, that is the time you must arrive. So if you can't have such, we cannot take over a regime, which we say is a dictatorship. Through the back door, you take it through the front door by knowing what happens here and what happens there. Two, going to that to the issue of our...
as I bring Nathan in.
Yes, our colleague, the RDC of Obongi. First, I want to assume he's a civil servant, not a politician. Because he made statements like a politician. And
What about FDC members?
about FDC
Jeopardizing the exercise?
and a lot of things. I am going to break it down. At one point, he says, our NRM candidate. Our NRM candidate. So I quoted him. He made it very clearly that our NRM candidate, who happens to win even amidst. So I want to assume he's a civil servant and he should act as a civil servant. Two, on the same account, FDC did not even field an LC5 chairman. Okay? FDC did not. So when he's blaming FDC, even when he says opposition, he ends up saying FDC. You see, it means he had a special attack he wanted maybe to make on FDC, but unfortunately, Caps Fungaru is not an army man, but at least he has gone through training of the same. So he knows what to do when security calls for. And he's our deputy president of the northern region as FDC. But one thing that is very serious about what he's mentioning, and which I think he must really, if I wish he was still on air, is about the ballot papers.
Stuffing.
Ballot paper stuffing is a serious offense. If you say you arrested some people, and up to today they have never been arraigned in front of court, that is something serious. I think it is a false allegation. Because, one, you say the president, it was okay, one ballot. Then you come to the direct member of parliament and you say it was now having, the person was having 2 ballot papers. Then you say the woman MP had 2 ballot papers. Now, but however, then you say the very people in FDC who were collaborating with that very lady of NRM, that the NRM lady was attacked at his house by the FDC people. See, these are statements that in actual sense.
Even you attacked his residence.
No, let's first conclude this. He said these people had 5 ballot papers, and 1 was for the president, the 2 for the direct, and the 2 for the woman MP, meaning that they were collaborators.
All right.
Now, if they are collaborators, at what point did they disagree that now the man called the Caps had to go and attack the woman MP who they were collaborating with? So this is where the contradiction is. So a fund needs to come clear and clean.
Okay, thank you so much.
He should play his game as a civil servant and not a politician.
Interesting. Nathan Kazora, few days to the Liberation Day, but before we go into a Liberation Day as well, do you think that the fights within the opposition are somehow elevating UNRM to go through? But also you have lost Kampala, mayoral seat, and also most of municipalities around. What do you make of?
No, for us, of course, we knew. It was even our surprise to got 3 MPs in Kampala. Because, for example, now in Kawempe, I don't remember when NRM get an MP from that area. But now we got 1 there. So,
maybe since it is a surprise, they are going to remove her through a petition.
Petition. By the way, I wanted to talk about what Mr. Chaka was talking about. I tell people through different medias where I go that opposition people have only one strategy of cheating us, violence. Now, for example, the other incident of Cassandra Nusa I've talked about, even people, they have damages on their heads. The supporters of that incumbent MP who are being defeated now brought in the goons and they started beating the other one. So that policy, they have it.
But Shaka, it is between an NRM and an NRM.
By the way, saying is a civil servant. You people sometimes you want to be hoodwinked. You always say soldiers or army they are not partisan. Indeed, they are not partisan.
They are not supposed to be even.
First, listen. But during the day of voting, they also go and vote. So they vote party. Which party?
No, they vote individuals. They don't vote parties.
Obviously, those individuals, we had only 8 candidates and we were all belonging to parties.
No.
So that one also give them that element of being partisan. Then you said first, you said President Museveni is not democratic. Which democracy do you want? if President Museveni can bring a president of another party, even opposition party, to come and work with him, now Mao is the minister in government. We are in political party dispensation, so that one is out. I'm very sorry, Amon, I'm running to another radio station. But as I'm concluding or winding up, I want to call all Ugandans.
But before you run, I am a candidate on Tuesday. I'm being elected. Please give me some money. I'm fundraising.
Are you coming on the TV?
No.
That one breaches the law of the use. That is voter bribery.
No.
If you want money individually from me, you have to come to me personally, not on the radio. So, Mr. Amon, the only thing I have to conclude with is to call people come and join this day, which is very, very fundamental day. This day, 27 people took gun to the bush to fight the irregularities, the intricacies, the impunity, and all dictatorship that were at play. And the cause of those 27 people, some of them they died from the bush, others they have already died. But it has given us this much freedoms we all move through, including the opposition people, that you have freedom of speech. You come and criticize even the president and you go home. Even you criticize vehemently, and including even deceptions. You lie against the government and you go home because of what? Of democracy. And this democracy was fought. It took some lives of people. That's why I always tell these people, you see, there is what we call principle of double effect in English. That a woman wants to give birth but has no labor pain. So the only option which is there is to operate. But when you have been operating this woman, he has died. So me, I'm working with MTN. We are not registering new lines for now 3 weeks. This is now, I'm now explaining double.
Because of internet.
First wait, double, principle, I'm saying a principle double effect. That a good effect was to curb insecurity, which these people are promising us here. Obviously, we are getting now these evil people. These people, by the way, they are evil. They are making people to lose their jobs. We are not working because of what? Their language. And of course they knew. They are promising empty promises. A presidential candidate come on air and say, me, I'm a legitimate rebel. Amon, I think you know English very well. Is there any legitimate rebel? A rebel is a rebel, fine. No. You cannot be legitimate. You are illegitimate because you can't say, me, I'm civil and legitimate. So Museveni is so tolerant. We have to give him thanks. He's so tolerant, and come out on Monday. You celebrate this day. Even the opposition people, you have a right to celebrate this day because all of us we have gains. We have gained in this government, whether we are supporting it or not supporting it. And I still call upon people on 27th to go and vote NRM. These remaining elections, go and vote NRM. I thank people who have voted like that. Even people who have voted against NRM, it's your choice and it's your right, your constitutional right. Thank you very much. God bless.
Interesting. Thank you so very much. Taking a very short break, and when I return, I'll be reading messages and some calls, picking some calls to share your views and perspectives on UBC Ground Zero, and later we're going to revisit the words of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, president at the time, swearing in 1986.
That I will well and truly exercise the functions of the high office of the President of the Republic of Uganda. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Uganda, and that I will preserve and defend the Constitution, and that I will do right to all manner of people according to the law established, without fear or favor, affection or ill will, so help me God.
That's it. We didn't know exactly what the problem was on the ground. There is no pretending about the effect of this thing. There's no pretending about it. Nobody should. It's a problem.
It's balanced.
This is not the stage at which you start planning to tax a commodity like coffee, especially from down there.
It's intellectually engaging.
The Constitution provides that the land must be registered under the customer tenure system, which is one of those that's recognized by the Constitution.
Ground Zero, live and syndicated on your public and national broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
At UBC Radio, all our radio network across the country is committed to inform, entertain, educate and guide for national transformation.
On radio, UBC should set its own example. Leka bano abatafa ku bantu baffe bagumaza ndowooza muganda kitwa kugumaza to divert people. Let our own UBC bring programs to educate the people so that abagala kugumaza babeereyo bagumaza naye naffe they can advise, guide. And people in time will judge the one who is their friend and who is just using them.
Tune into UBC Radios for credible socio-economic programs. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
This is UBC Radio. Tune in for news.
At UBC Radio, we bring you Uganda's latest news and information.
Focus on Parliament.
What we need to do, the Prime Minister must give us the position before we finalize with the budgeting process.
Enjoy sports. The environment. Politics.
The mission we have is socio-economic transformation.
Health. Entertainment. Updates in education. On the farm. Keep tuned into UBC Radio. Inspiring
90 UBC Radio, and we're also live and clear on other radio stations that cover this program. UBC Butebo in Eastern Uganda, Western Nile Radio in Arua City there, UBC Voice of Bondobujo, Magic 100 FM and UBC Radio, and we're streaming live. 776-511-426 is the number you can call and share your views. You're live on radio.
Amon, good morning.
A very good morning to you, sir.
Buteega.
Thank you so very much, sir.
Thank you too. This is the time, if you're a senior citizen of this country, you have to go back and reflect. Number of people who went to look for their voting slip and they accessed and they got it, but they, for turning up for voting, they were nowhere to be seen. And then we bring the figures who voted, how many out of how much. Should investigate why many did not vote. 21 people, 21 million people. Only 11 million managed to vote.
Half of the
What
number
happened
almost.
What happened to 10 million? Number two, this is the time you are the person who had won. You have been declared a winner. Start seeing which angle your predecessor stopped, and you start from where the person you are overtaken stopped. That would be your starting point. Don't again go there. You found a borehole was constructed long ago. You feel like not even to see that borehole skeleton which is standing in the bush. You start from that very borehole which is spoiled. Rectify that, bring community, mobilize them well, sensitize them well. That's what we call fundamental of service deliveries. Because the one you are planning to go and bring to this community, you'll find that some people, they have been there closely to this borehole under a land which was having issues, and you will find that kilometers too much for people to access this borehole. Secondly, this is the time we have to put party aside. We have to start dwelling on how to push this country ahead. Military, please, I'm not against you. A country with that rule of laws, it is desperate. If you know the law is very clearly, you first resign, then you go and start practicing your maybe politics. Let's try to be law-abiding citizens. Ballot stuffing and the rest of other things, they can view, you use the military, you bring a view to the public, and at the end of the day, you scoop some ballots. And when people are complaining, say, and now the internet even was shocked. So for me, this is a time for reconciliation. Let's reconcile and we find a good way of moving forward with this country. Thank you so much, Amon.
All right, 776-511-426 is the number you can call and share your concerns or reviews or perspectives on UBC Ground Zero. You're live on UBC Ground Zero.
Hello.
You're live and clear. Your name and where you're calling us from?
My name is Joseph. I'm calling just here. Namugongo.
Okay.
About the program which is at the studio today, I've liked the speech that guy has given. I've forgotten their names, but there is this one who was talking about
Okay, indeed you've forgotten. But you can call again on 776-511-426. Simon Katungi, you're listening in from Makono, and thanks for the program. Amon, Ojobili, it is time that opposition prepares itself for the next 5 years instead of fighting each other, because there's nothing to gain, but there is a lot to gain if you mobilized and gained the grassroots levels, like your leader Vesje has always done, building grassroots, not just being in towns. All right, the same on there. 776-511-426 is the number you can send your messages or call and share your views and perspectives on UBC Ground Zero. I go to Babidi Child there. Thank you for the program. NRM is still winning in so many places. What does this communicate to the opposition? Grassroots mobilization, but also PDM has been a game changer for them. Okay. Thank you for the program. I am listening in from Entebbe, and opposition seems to be fighting itself. If they cooperated and they know that they have one enemy to fight, then they will be winning. But the more they fight each other, is the more the other one keeps on moving forward. Okay, Ojabili, some of the concerns that come to you, and as we wait for the country to celebrate the 26th January, what does it mean to you and the opposition? Do you celebrate this day? Do you in any way embrace it? What does that mean to you? Before I get to this one, you're live on radio.
Hello, UBC.
UBC radios.
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm also Joseph calling from here in Nansana.
Okay.
Yeah, I have listened all the honorables. But let me use our language, the local language, Uganda. And I ask the honorable the question.
Okay.
Ngenda kubuuza ku machine ezo BVM machine nti bazireeta okukola naye zisobola okukola ne akalulu akaddako, oba zikola omulundi gumu ne ziddayo ne baleeta empya. That is my question.
Okay, sir. UBC radios, and this is UBC Ground Zero. I go back to Augustine to put some, or to address some of these concerns, and later we talk about the Liberation Day, 26 January 2026. Ojabile?
You see, Amon, I want to thank our colleagues who are listening and coming in through us.
Maybe if you can give me 1 minute.
Okay.
Last one.
Hello.
You're live on radios.
This is Fatima project.
You're calling from where?
I'm calling from Kamonja.
Okay.
What I know is these elections, nowadays people is becoming hard. You see about these machines that they refuse to work.
Okay. Ajabile, there.
You see, I want to thank our colleagues who are listening and they have managed to call in. It's not easy. We have scarcity of money in our pockets, so buying airtime to make these calls is also not easy. Even data has become so expensive at a point where we are still under siege and people have to use VPN to access data. It becomes so expensive that you even share your data with us who are speaking to you on air. Maybe I don't see any serious questions. People are just concerned about the opposition and the kind of progress we might make if we do not really act so soon. For me, the situation is really not good for opposition. Simply because we took a back seat in this whole thing now. We are chasing away thinkers, and we do not want to associate with those who are wiser than us. We do not even want to appreciate history. We do not want to have we do not want to have institutional memory as part of of our usual discussions. Many of the opposition leaders no longer even sit together to discuss about the strategy of how to take over this country. So we need to go back to that. Bringing back the issue of Dr. Kizza Besigye, you see, he had built a system where all of us work together. That FDC don't look at a DP member as a rebel. Don't look at a person of JEMA as a rebel. Don't look at people of UPC as the enemies. And that is how we manage to galvanize and build opposition to a level that you could have some FDC members of parliament who are credible. Then you would have some members of UPC becoming members of parliament as credible leaders. You would have the same in DP, you would have some in JEMA, and that is how we could go on working closely together. FDC is the one which brought Mwanga Chivumbi to parliament, even when Mwanga Chivumbi was a DP, because we went and removed our candidate who was called Massey Johnson. At that point, he was the most popular candidate, but Mwanga Chivumbi had gone to court and won a court petition. Then Dr. Kizza Besigye sat us down and said there is no way we should act in an unjust way. Someone who has won a court petition, and then we go and field our candidate against him. No, it is not worth it. Let us go and campaign for him. And we packed our bags, went and slept in Butambala for a whole month, campaigning for a DP candidate. That was the spirit of togetherness that we had brought up together. Today, you know that activists of FDC have been in prison with the Bijirwas when they were in DP, doing activities together. It is it's the kind of bondage that we had built. In 2020, the moment NUP registered as NUP, the message that came up from their principal or the president, Kyagulanyi, was that you can only be NUP but not both. So meaning that you cannot collaborate with anybody who is not a NUP member. So you are either NUP or you are not NUP. And that is how he disorganized the DP members. DP members had to come and settle with him. Those who wanted to win elections had to leave whatever areas they were in, because he now had the powers to talk to people and say, maybe you help this one and vote for him because I have said so. Now, that kind of leadership is what has brought us to this level. You know very well that even when our colleagues, the road mayor, when he was leaving FDC, which he had spent in about 2 months, said that we have no other option other than just taking FDC to its burial ground, waina ilahi, waina ilehi, na jihuna, and he didn't even know where FDC had come from. He had just come to win an election as a Lord Mayor, and in the next months you are saying, waina ilahi, as if you know how many people or dead bodies we have buried because of building this political party called FDC. So this kind of attitude of thinking that it is either me or no one else is what is killing the opposition. And we must deal with it as opposition. We must come out together and say there is still hope ahead. There is another generation hope. We must build the hope and encourage our people never to lose the hope and trust that we can actually have a leadership which is for all of us, and all of us cherish the outcome of that leadership. Okay. We cannot have it when you say, I can't give someone a political card to run because he's a friend to someone I hate. That is useless and childish in reasoning. It can't be in this day and era that you are giving someone a leadership position because he is your friend. Yet okay. The values of standing in that position are actually 99% away from that person's credibility.
Interesting. Time is not on our side, Honorable. And what maybe before we conclude, I would also
maybe just the issue of the BVV. Day. Oh, the BVVK machine. Someone asked about them.
Yes.
You see, I am not even part of the procurement team. I don't even know what the machines, what they are made of, how they are made. I don't even know. So that question will be best answered maybe when Amon invites the Electoral Commission team, either the spokesperson or the chairman or the team from Electoral Commission. At least they will give you an answer. And the issue of liberation.
Do you celebrate? Do you commemorate? Do you see?
Personally, I do not celebrate that day. But I appreciate the energies.
But you enjoy the fruits of that day.
Let me tell you, it depends on what the fruits are. Because some of us have different struggles. Many people have different struggles. Even when you're talking of people maybe having the freedom to walk from Kasubi to town or from Nakawa to Weyogerere, and nobody touches them, you must also think of some other people who can't even make the next step because of the insecurity or insurgencies by some of these security operatives. Because I've told you that I've ever been picked from one of the radio stations. One of the things that took Mr. Museveni is that he was rigged from, he says his election was rigged. An election which cannot be justified, where you had one candidate winning, and that candidate even won through a by-election and he was never sworn in. Some people don't even know that even the candidate they keep talking of never got sworn in, and he ran for his life to the exile. So even when they are counting the people who went to parliament in 1980, UPM had one candidate who came through a by-election, and that by-election was so violent in a sense that he did not swear in. So if he could not swear in, and Mr. Museveni went to the bush, should we be appreciating him for now continuing with the same atrocities? One, the period between 1986 to 2026, how many elections have we participated in? We must be now in the 9th election. How have they been conducted? Do we appreciate them as free and fair? Do we give them the sense of mind that many of the Ugandans look at them as credible elections? Me as a person, I would still say if people wanted to go to the bush because of the credibility of elections, they would still go to the bush, because whatever Mr. Museveni attributed to the elections of 1980 actually happened in every election from the time of CA up to today, when we have just closed this election, the presidential elections. So to me, celebrating this day is majorly a ritual of those who managed to go to the bush and their families, maybe those who survived, and try to see that you continue reminding the country of that day, so that they don't forget that actually you went to the bush and you came through the bush, through the gun, and maybe they should also take you by the gun. Because his first statement to Besigye the other time in 2005 was that, no, you see, a quarter pin is removed by a hammer. And that's when Besigye said, I've now come with the hammer. So in brief, if you come with a gun, you are telling us you want to live with a gun, which we are not planning for. We are not thinking of the gun. But we are saying we shall take you by all civil means.
Time is not aside, time is up, and I would request your parting shots.
Yes, on 27th we have elections. We are having so many participants in this election. I want to call upon Ugandans to come out and vote. Don't lose hope. Hope should be the last thing you should lose in life. Even someone who is on oxygen is always hopeful that at least my lungs should really be free and I breathe normally. So if you lose that hope, you die. If you were to die at 10 a.m., you will die at 7. So you will lose out the 3 hours. Maybe they would be valuable to you in one way or the other. We have a saying these days that instead of dying today, let me die tomorrow. So, meaning that you are hopeful that I can make it to the next day. So if you are hopeful that you can make it to the next day, be hopeful that even when you rise up in the morning and you go to the ballot, you can vote the person you want and he will be announced winner. Have that hope. Don't lose it. Don't think that whatever happened somewhere is going to happen at your station. Even the Bible alone tells you that the word you shouldn't be fearful is mentioned 366 times, meaning that it is 6 times more than the days we spend, more than the days we spend on earth every year.
Okay.
So if we have 360 days and the Bible is telling you that you should be hopeful and you shouldn't be fearful, and it mentions that word 336 times, that alone is an indication we should be hopeful for every day. Rise up and say, I will not be fearful. I will not be fearful. I will not be fearful. And you will make 1 year, then another year begins, and that is how we should be. Be hopeful. Do not lose hope. One Uganda, one people.
Interesting. That brings us to the end of our conversation on UBC Ground Zero on 5 radio stations that cover this program and streaming live on YouTube. You just put UBC Ground Zero. You'll be part of the conversation. The repeat of this program is always on Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. You can create time and listen in on UBC Radio 98.0 FM and also on Monday same time on Voice of Buteebo. I want to thank you, Honorable Augustine Ojabile from FDC, and we also had Honorable Mpimbaza Shaka, the RDC of Obongi District, and also Nathan David Kazora and Aremo Beleza. Until next time, same station, same program. More programs coming your way on UBC radios. Until next time, same station. For God and my country, I'm Amon of Buteega. Alamed sign out.
That was Ground Zero Season 2, a production of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, UBC, inspiring Uganda. It's hot.
We passed it. We didn't know exactly what the problem was on the ground. There is no pretending about the effect of this thing. There's no pretending about it. Nobody should. It's a problem.
It's balanced.
This is not the stage at which you start planning to tax a commodity like coffee, especially from down there.
It's intellectually engaging.
The Constitution provides that the land must be registered under the customary tenure system, which is one of those that's recognized by the Constitution.
Ground Zero, live and syndicated on your public and national broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
UBC Radio Network, your national preferred choice. We broadcast all over Uganda and beyond. Join us on 98 FM in Kampala, 99.4 FM Lira, and 97.4 FM Arua. UBC Radio, inspiring Uganda.
At UBC Radio, all our radio network across the country is committed to inform, entertain, educate and guide for national transformation.
On radio, UBC should set its own example. Leka bano abatafa ku bantu baffe bagumaza ndowooza Muganda hita okugumaza to divert people. Let our own UBC bring programs to educate the people so that abagala kugumaza babeereyo bagumaza naye naffe they can advise, guide. And people in time will judge the one who is their friend and who is just using them.
Tune into UBC radios for credible socio-economic programs. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
This is UBC Radio. Tune in for news.
At UBC Radio, we bring you